Welcome in, Wednesday edition, Blue Sky Live here with you today. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford Studio, Campbell Clinic Hotline. We will look at some betting lines. We like gambling. We like college football. Going to put those two things together here in still early May, but DraftKings said, you know what, we're going to throw you some lines. So we're going to talk about those lines. We got several for Ole Miss. Not as many as for some other schools around the conference, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if that means something toward their schedule. They don't have tons of marquee games that have already been put up. They've got a pretty friendly schedule, if we talked about a good bit for the Rebels, or if it, I don't know. Yeah, anyway, we'll look at some of the SEC games that are going on with that. Briefly mention Brian Kelly's comments. I don't think it's going to make for a good pod because Neal and I mostly agree on that. And then the Gregg Doyel thing, Caitlin Clark thing. I like picking on Gregg usually, but odd yesterday. So we'll talk about that a little bit and some other things going on here with you today and every day. Blue Sky, they're out in Mississippi, up and down I-55. They're out in North Mississippi as well, the epicenter down in Macomb. So wherever you are in Mississippi, there's a Blue Sky nearby, and they want to take care of you on your travels, on your way in and out of town. The Oxford Exxon, you know about the lunch specials, $5.69, 2 sides bread, any size fountain drink for that. Also, Sweet Daddy's locations all over the state of Mississippi, ribs, pulled pork, side items, desserts, and much more. So, again, take advantage of Blue Skies near you. And, again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are. Clark Ford is in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. Call that number. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. Just right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote. The rest is up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and let's hop into a Clark Ford today. 662-257-1900. Corey and the people at Clark Ford, they want to be your car guy. They want to be your truck guy. They'll prove to you what that means when you make the call. 662-257-1900. Guest join on the Campbell Clinic hotline. The Campbell Clinic is in Oxford now, 2608 South Lamar Boulevard, Suite 102, just across the street from the cottages at Hooper Hollow. The Campbell Clinic provides full-service orthopedic care. Everything from sports medicine to foot and ankle surgery to spine and total joint care to pediatric orthopedics, physical therapy, and more. To book an appointment, go to campbellclinicoxford.com or call 901-759-3111. Walk-ins always welcome at the Campbell Clinic, Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. until 4 p.m.
So, several places to go for the start of today's show. Thanks for running the stream. Pretty active stream already. Program note-wise, Ole Miss baseball, Murray State tonight, 5 o'clock start. Remember, 5 o'clock today for the Racers and the Rebels from Swayze Field. Grayson Saunier on the mound for Ole Miss. We'll try to get updates on Austin Simmons, where he is in his process right now. And then also Ethan Leje, if he might return either this week or for the rest of the season with that thumb fracture that he suffered last weekend, or 2 weeks ago now, I guess. No, against State, maybe. I don't know, whenever the hell it was. He hurt his thumb.
It would probably not feel great swinging a bat if you hit the ball wrong.
Mike said on Friday night that it is a pain tolerance thing, that he can't make it any worse, that he tried to do infield, outfield, BP stuff on Thursday night there on the road at Auburn, but that it even with the splint, there was some pain and swelling, and they were just going to have to reevaluate this week. So we'll see where that is sitting at this point. And then I am not an orthopedic surgeon, but my Holiday Inn version of things as it pertains to Austin Simmons is maybe he has made a decision on what they're doing now. Last I heard, there wasn't. We'll ask Mike after the game tonight, but that a lot of you guys had sent us the articles on Brock Purdy and how he handled that UCL from a football standpoint. That's not the same as how you'd handle from a baseball standpoint. And again, this is third party, me relaying kind of what I've heard is, I had to be real careful with orthopedic stuff around here. That, you okay over there? You all right? That, Austin has to decide if you did the orthopedic thing that potentially gets you back for football season, and for a Purdy thing, it gets you back for football season potentially, but that it doesn't necessarily cure your baseball situation. But if you do a baseball situation right now, you miss this football season and next baseball season for the most part, but you'd be good for the 2025 football season. If you tried some rehabilitation stuff or the Purdy thing and then that didn't work, and then you had the real Tommy John or the full baseball Tommy John in August, then you run the risk of missing 2 football seasons and a baseball season. And obviously,
because Brock Purdy does not pitch.
No, and Austin Simmons clearly is in line for a very important 2025 Ole Miss football season. So that is where Austin Simmons is at, to the best of my knowledge. That is where things are at from the standpoint of him trying to make that decision. Again, maybe he has chosen a doctor. If so, I have not heard that. I haven't really tried, to be honest, the last few days. But we'll do our best to get an update on that either during the day today or as tonight moves forward. But yeah, there's some timing, to the best of my knowledge, on what procedure to get, where your motivation lies on which sport, and how safe you want to be or not be to guarding towards your moderate to long-term situation as it pertains to college football at this point. So that's where we at.
I'm reading Tupelo Reb. Says Wilson Contreras got hit by a swing last night. Out 6 to 8 weeks. I didn't see that.
I didn't see that either.
That sucks. I know he's a Cardinal, and I'm supposed to hate.
You do like Contreras.
I'm supposed to hate the Cardinals, and I do, for the most part, really hate the Cardinals. But I like Wilson. I got a soft spot for Wilson Contreras. He was one of my favorite Cubs when he was a Cub.
It wasn't his fault.
I'm actually going to a Cubs-Cardinals game in June and was looking forward to cheering for him during his first at-bat. I love Wilson Contreras. I think he's a great guy. I never could stop loving Dexter Fowler. Even when he wore that godforsaken uniform.
Oh, you like Fowler too?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's retired now. He's actually back working for the Cubs.
Is he really?
Mm-hmm.
Like broadcast or like front office?
Broadcasting. He just got his degree from Penn State.
Did he?
Mm-hmm. Like a master's of business administration or something like that.
Good for him.
Yeah, Dexter's a good dude.
He did all right.
Life has been good for Dexter Fowler.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The lightning bolt was okay to him when it struck.
Yep. And he took advantage of his talents. And I'm a big Wilson Contreras guy. I don't know. We'll get off this. It's what frustrates me about this. The Cardinals knew what they were getting. The Cardinals knew what they were getting when they got him. They knew he was a elite offensive catcher who struggles defensively. And then he gets there. They paid him all the money. No one made them do it. They paid him all the money. And then he's a subpar defensive catcher, and they act like this is some shocking development. That's on them.
Definitely not his fault.
No. You knew what you were buying. So
I'm going to start here because once I get down a couple rabbit holes, we'll just keep going. This Gregg Doyel thing, because it hit our board with two different threads yesterday. Gregg Doyel, who spent time in Oxford as a child. I can localize this thing if people would like it localized. It actually plays into the whole story a little bit. So I've probably focused on this more than Neal has, so I'll try to guide through it at this point.
I mean,
if I've spent more than 5 seconds on it, I've probably spent more time on it than Neal has at this point.
read about it yesterday.
Yeah, hold on.
Okay.
So for a refresher, Gregg Doyel, the Indianapolis Star columnist, been at multiple places. I think was at CBS for a long time. He's been a pretty prominent national columnist at times during the course of his career. And as you guys on the podcast are very well aware at this point, I have sort of a love-hate with him. He gets on my last nerve with the way that he frames a lot of the stories about his own teams he covers, and he's the cheerleader of all cheerleaders. And in my opinion, takes it too far from a columnist, even though sometimes columnists are kind of champions of the city, and there's a little bit of middle fine line there. But Greg gets way carried away.
Yeah.
He made me root against Purdue in the NCAA basketball tournament when I had no care at all, and like Adam Kuffner. So, like...
And you probably would like Matt Painter if you met him.
I probably would, yeah. But for whatever reason...
One of the nicer guys in college basketball.
It's like he's kind of Wes Rucker light when it comes to I just cheer against the team because of a beat writer or a reporter that covers them. But his human interest stuff is fantastic. He's a great writer from a human interest standpoint. So I follow him on Twitter and follow him pretty closely because if I can catch some of his human interest stuff, I really like it. But he had been writing columns about Caitlin Clark and how much she was going to change the city of Indianapolis and transform the sports programs there and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And at her introductory press conference, he grabbed the mic to ask a question. He made the heart sign with his hands.
Like that?
Yeah, that she makes toward family during the games.
At the end of every game.
Yes. Clark looks at him, says, "You like that?" ? She didn't say question mark, but I'm helping you guys out with inflection. He goes, "I like that you're here. I like that you're here. Yeah, I do that to my family after every game. Pretty cool. We'll start doing it to me and we'll get along just fine," Doyel said. Now, look, creepy as all hell.
Yeah, come on.
Oh, no. Creepy as all hell. Creepy as all hell.
Inexcusably creepy.
It is. No, I'm not. I'm not defending. Not justifying.
I know you're not. I know you're not. I'm just pointing out.
He's an awkward, weird dude. Again, I'm not justifying my point. No, I have a point. I have a point.
I'm letting you get there. My skin crawls.
No. I'm not disagreeing. I don't think it was for two different reasons. Okay, because let me skip forward. I'll come back.
Okay.
The awful announcing or whoever the hell actually reported it, I don't know. They talked to some Indianapolis sports writer.
Bob Kravitz wrote it first. Bob Kravitz used to be.
He actually wrote it. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know if he told someone or wrote it.
He now sort of does a media blog, and he actually reached.
Kind of like Canzano in Oregon.
Reached out to Gregg and got.
Oh.
Yeah, no, he did journalism on this.
Okay.
Because the Pacers are in the playoffs. Okay.
They are, yes.
And that's kind of a big story there. And the Colts just had like a mini camp, or they had their draft.
Oh, and Doyle's not writing columns.
And Doyle's not writing, and he's been the guy.
And he writes 10 columns a day. I mean, he just churns them out machine gun style.
Yeah, the Pacers just beat the Bucks in a playoff series, and they're now playing the New York Knicks in a playoff series, and Doyle's not writing. And so, of course, people are like, well, what's the deal? Continue.
Yeah. So, yeah, he had not had a tweet and since April 29th, I believe, is what happened. Kravitz says that he was suspended for 2 weeks. It's suspended for 2 weeks. And then he is not allowed to cover any Indiana Fever games in person the rest of the course of the season.
Right.
Those are the punishments. If, my opinion, you guys can throw tomatoes at me, that's fine.
I think you have a majority opinion.
If that's it, and this is a first offense, and this is all he's ever done, the suspension is weird. Because why? He's not a threat to Caitlin Clark. He's not going to physically abuse Caitlin Clark.
Right.
And two, you're actually hurting your own. This is what bugs me. It's the suspension of covering the Fever. Because, again, he's not going to go out on the court and attack Caitlin Clark.
No.
When you say you can write columns, but you can't go to the game and write columns, you're hindering him from being able to do his job. Mm-hmm. You're affecting the work. But then you're going, hey, but we still need the content with your byline in the paper, so we're going to make you do this in a way that doesn't really work, but we're going to still put your name and get our clicks.
Right.
It's a dumb thing from the Star in that way, whereas I'm defending that this is too strict of a punishment for what it was, even though it was skin-crawlingly creepy, unless there's something we're missing. And that's kind of where I went. I went, okay, are they being ridiculous, or is there something that we just simply don't know about this?
I'm going to guess here.
Yeah, sure.
And I feel comfortable in this guess.
Okay.
That this is not a first offense.
Yeah, I mean, probably so. That's my point. Because if it is, it's an overreaction.
It is. That said, it was a comment that he never would have made to a male athlete.
No, 100%.
And that makes it to me, it makes it unacceptable. I would have considered firing him.
But he would have done something as goofy to a male thing. Like, Gregg does this shit. Like,
it's Tyrese Halliburton?
Anthony Richardson. I mean, he was like fawning over him when the Colts drafted him. I mean, it was like he's changing everything and please. I mean, I guess that's my point. There's a context to Gregg's actions that you've been cool with it when he's done it to male players in different ways to some degree. Again, I'm not justifying
No, I know you're not.
There's a nuance to this.
Well, we're not fighting here.
Yeah, no, of course not.
No, I'm just,
He even apologized and said, I never would have done that to a man, and I screwed up, and I just wasn't thinking. I'm an awkward guy, I was trying to be cute, and I effed up.
So here's my thing, is if you're going to ask him to cover the Fever, a professional franchise there in your city that has the most prominent female player
in the country or the world.
Maybe the world right now. I'm not going to get into an argument of semantics.
It doesn't
who's
matter.
Better. She's the most visible. She's the most visible.
Yeah.
She's literally the reason that the WNBA is going to chartered flights.
I told Neal yesterday or day before I considered the WNBA season pass a couple days ago. I haven't purchased it yet, but I did consider it.
Well, and the fact that you, seriously, for a minute.
No, I know.
The fact that someone like you, who's not really a basketball guy, considered the past, the past for even a second.
That I spent 5 seconds going, I wonder how much it is.
Also, it tells you how many thousands of people bought it. So, why not? I'm curious. She has changed the game already in a very short period of time. But if you're going to do that, then don't let him cover it at all.
Well, yeah, this is
where I don't want. Here's the part. Look, I don't know what else has happened. I have a feeling this is not a first offense.
I don't know. Yeah.
You request to sit down with Caitlin in person and apologize. Human to human.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
It's
I love
not
the
what I
CD
meant.
and I got carried away and I'm stupid.
It's not what I meant. I'm so sorry. Nothing like this will ever, ever, ever happen again. You hope that she goes, look, I understand. It was kind of weird. I hate that you put me in that position, but I appreciate the apology. And everybody
we all move on.
I don't know.
Because now you're creating even more of a. If Caitlin Clark now looks at it and goes, God Almighty, did he like stalk me somewhere and I'm not aware of? Like, because if Gregg is going to maintain his job, Caitlin Clark's going to be in Indiana for a while. Like, they're not done.
And she's apparently getting stalked. She got sort of stalked in an airport recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this stuff's weird. People are strange. I mean, I know this is this newsflash. Men, when it comes to women, are really weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's why for me, I mean, this is like, for me, it creeps me out because I'd never, not in a gazillion years, go there. So I don't know what the hell he was thinking. And people go, well, he's just weird. I mean, okay, fine, but I don't know that excuses that in that,
no, it was dumb.
Environment.
It was very dumb.
You know, I mean, if I were his boss and he came back, I would have been like, what in the, you're going to have to help me.
It's the not covering that actually is what's bothering me. The suspension, okay, whatever. But what I find, and pertaining to the Oxford thing, he wrote a story in 2018. Here's the headline, or the Twitter description. We were new in town. My dad realized the little league where I was playing baseball, where he was coaching, was segregated. He decided two things. I'll finish the season and then I'll destroy them. And he did. And it's a story about Gregg saying that his dad basically was the reason that Oxford Little League Baseball integrated back in the day.
Yeah.
I know some people who have some issues with this story from a factual basis to this, it is not.
All that was missing from that story was a cross in the yard.
Yeah. I mean, it really was.
Yeah.
It's a very similar premise here.
Which
as this
did not happen either.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the point.
Yeah. But he retweeted that story yesterday. And I went, hold on. This is my favorite part.
I mean, that story wasn't right.
This
it was
comes
wrong.
out, and I go, no, I'm a good guy. We cured racism. No, hold, stop.
Yep.
But we cured racism.
Yep.
Please don't gif me saying we cured racism. There's a lack of context there that I'd really like to avoid.
Well, boy, Brian Kelly says hello.
I'm just, I don't know. Like I said, unless there's more, and if there's more, here's the problem. If there's more, you fire him. This middle ground thing is what is bugging me. It's just the wrong answer either way.
And they don't fire him because he gets clicks.
Oh, dude's good.
He's really good, and people read his stuff.
And he's a machine. Just 3 columns a day.
Yeah.
Just go.
And that's hard, man. If you've never been a newspaper columnist, you don't know how hard that can get.
And yes, 90% of, maybe not 90, but a very high percentage of journalists are socially weird people.
Yes.
So when you guys say, hey, what do y'all do in the press box? You're like, you don't want to know.
No.
I've had buddies come in from because at Vaught Hemingway, some of those club areas on our level, and I'll have guys occasionally see me and walk in and go, this is not what I thought it was. I'm like, nope, it's not.
Nope.
We just sit here with.
Well, and there's rules, and it's different. It's just a different place than what it's like. People go, man, I'd kill to have your job. I'm like, well, some days, but my job's different than what you think it is. Probably in the same way your job's different than what I think it is. And you know, I mean, not necessarily.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll get to Brian in a minute. I'm not in the mood for Brian yet. We'll get to that later in the show. But I found myself defending Gregg Doyel a little yesterday, and I went, huh.
Yeah.
I was almost kind of proud of myself because I went, no, I considered information and then made a decision. I didn't just go, you know what, Brian, he annoys me, fire him into the sun. Because you kind of get what you get.
Well, and two things can be true at once. It can be awkward as hell, and it can also be an overreaction.
Yeah. Oh, it was awkward as hell.
But yeah, I mean, I'll defend Gregg here and say there's a 0.00% chance that Gregg had ever any plans to make any sort of advances towards Caitlin Clark.
Not
0.
even a hint of one.
Zero.
That's the thing of, hey, you can't go in the building while they're playing. It's
Oh,
like
stop.
He's a puppy dog.
If anything, right now, he would be embarrassed to go up to her to do his job.
Yeah. He would have a hard time asking questions at this point.
The right move, I'm being repetitive, would have been for him and the Star to reach out to her people, to the Fever, and say, Gregg feels sick about this.
Can we?
And would really love to apologize in person.
Yeah. And she would have said okay.
I don't know her, but I would have assumed that she would have said okay.
Or either it's not even necessary, we're good.
And at which point he would have said, no, he insists, please.
Yeah.
And then let's clear this air.
And let's move on.
And then who knows? Maybe it ends up becoming a nice professional relationship.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He writes the column in a year. It goes, I screwed up, and now look at where we are. And, blah, blah, blah.
And there's a chance that she's simply been in an environment where the media that covered her, all they did was fawn over her, and that there was never anything, and that she's not comfortable with it. And I don't know.
Yeah.
There's just too many things, too many unknowns for me to just make full judgment.
There are. Let's talk some college football. Let's talk some college football lines. We're at the second first G&M Pharmacy in Oxford. That is on South Lamar, 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area, and they offer medicine. Free prescriptions the same day each month. Take care of you. One trip to the pharmacy, one delivery. You have everything you need when you need it with G&M. So remember, if you transfer those medications, one phone call, they take care of the rest. It's easy. It's convenient. Let them help you out, whether it be Tyson Drugs in Holly Springs or G&M in Oxford. Again, that's 662-236-2222.
Are you retiring soon? How long should you wait to take Social Security? What accounts should you pull from first? These are just some of the questions that can only be answered with a personalized retirement income plan. Andrew Sego Wealth Management specializes in helping folks just like you come up with their retirement game plan. Whether you meet at his office in Collierville or prefer Zoom from anywhere, schedule a free discovery meeting. See what they can do for you. It's rebelsretire.com. Mark your calendars for the start of fall sports registration with the Oxford Park Commission. On Monday, June the 3rd, they'll begin signups for youth flag football, baseball, softball, volleyball, soccer, and I think I said volleyball already. Your children will be able to play all sports thanks to the new format that will allow their sports to be played concurrently with various sports playing on different nights of the week. So you can create an OPC website account at oxfordparkcommission.com or contact OPC Community Relations Director John Davis at John, John, Davis at oxfordparkcommission.com for additional information. We're brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating, different names. Same great products and services. If you live in Oxford, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call Comer, 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, or that area, call Southern, 662-429-4429. The College Corner is coming to is actually in Oxford now. I was going to say is you've got a week. You've got 1 week. The big deadline's coming up. You got 1 week to sign up for the Grove Collective Lane Kiffin signed football. You got to stop at the Oxford location right off of Sisk Avenue at the Oxford Commons. Make a purchase. Leave a tip. The tip goes towards the Grove Collective and gets you registered for the aforementioned signed football. You can also shop at the College Corner at the two locations in Jackson or online at collegecornerstore.com. Call Argent Welt's 401k advisory services team today, and they'll conduct a complimentary, no-obligation benchmarking and analysis of your current 401k plan. Mention that you heard about Argent Wealth on the Oxford Exxon podcast. Get 10% off of your first year's fees. That's myargentwealth.com. So
DraftKings yesterday coming out with some lines. First off, guys, is this accurate? I'm reading here from Michael Mulhill. I don't know who he is, on Twitter. He says, the greatest draft in sports for media junkies, the Big Ten football draft begins today. More fascinating than ever with 3 networks choosing games of 18 schools. Derek Crocker and Ryan Kassoff running the war room for Fox. So he's intimating that all 3 networks are just doing this preseason draft style to pick which games will go on which networks throughout the year. Number 1, it's a great idea. Number 2, I'd watch, frankly, televise that bitch.
Yeah. Man, I'd be cheering for the 11 o'clock game.
But the SEC fans would, ESPN has all of them, so it doesn't matter in the SEC. But
Whatever happened to we're going to announce times before the season starts?
They told us that, didn't they?
Yeah.
They said they were going to put them in tiers and announce the early games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's that? I guess it's still time.
Some of the problem is Ole Miss is not going to get a lot of that third tier early game stuff. They're too good.
Yeah.
You got a little problem there.
Yeah.
Get ready for those 8:15 kicks.
Oh, God.
Rebels, Sooners, 8:45 from Vaught Hemingway Stadium.
I mean, for us, it just makes post-game shows impossible.
Because it's just so
Well,
late.
it's 1 in the morning when you're going. I mean, no one's doing that. I mean, so it really changes your plans. Like, how the hell do you put everything together? So it would be nice to have some of those things so that when you're trying to figure out how you're going to put coverage together, you could do it.
So as I was saying, Ole Miss with by far the fewest number of preseason lines that have come out. And again, I'm assuming that's schedule related, but I don't really understand why. The 4 games that Ole Miss has lines on so far, none in the first half of the season. So we talked about yesterday, that 6-0 kind of goal that they have. They're clear favorites in all those games, and DraftKings did not think they would be enough juice for early lines on those games at this point.
I can't say I disagree.
And then here, LSU in Baton Rouge, Ole Miss getting 2.5. They've got LSU as an early 2.5-point favorite in Baton Rouge against the Rebels.
We'll see. LSU's getting points for home field.
They are.
I'll pull up the beginning of their schedule.
And I have LSU's lines as well. They are underdogs in only 1 game that has a line so far. And it's worth noting they are a home favorite against Alabama this season as well on DraftKings from an early preseason line.
So LSU's schedule to start the season. They open the season with USC.
-6 on an early line against the Trojans, by the way. LSU -6 against USC.
Then they get Nicholls State at home. They go to South Carolina, UCLA at home.
They play both.
Yeah, and then South Alabama at home before a weekend off before the Ole Miss game.
Okay. Yeah,
I mean, I think they'll be
LSU's
undefeated.
lines -2.5 versus Ole Miss, -5 versus Oklahoma, -8 Arkansas, +3 at Texas A&M. So that's their only underdog game that's been announced. -1 versus Alabama and -5.5 at Florida.
I mean,
so good bit of gambling respect to LSU in these rankings.
I mean, they have a talented roster.
They do. They're not chopped liver.
No.
So interesting there. The other 3 for Ole Miss, again, all these late in the year. Oklahoma at home, obviously a huge game. They're in Oxford, -6 against the Sooners. So they had the Rebels -6 against Oklahoma, and Oklahoma's first trip to Oxford is part of the SEC. I don't know this for sure. My guess would be that's probably the Realtree game for Ole Miss. It's the way the schedule lines up when they debut the second iteration of the helmet for that. But that would make sense. But yeah, -6 against Oklahoma. A couple weeks later, Georgia in town, the other underdog game for Ole Miss this season, and what will be the only other underdog game. Ole Miss will be 10-2 from a line standpoint in the preseason.
Yes.
Georgia +7 against the Bulldogs at home. Georgia -7 on the road against the Rebels.
It's not a bad line. There'll be a lot of people that will take Ole Miss juice on that for the home game, and then there will be some people that look at it and go, man, I saw what I saw last year.
Prove it to me.
Yeah, which is fair.
Georgia's early lines, they're favorites everywhere, as you would expect.
Yeah.
-13.5 at home against Clemson to start the year.
Lay them.
-4.5 in Tuscaloosa.
Ooh. That's
You're not ready to bury Alabama yet. You're kind of going, hey, guys, hold on. Time out.
I got to issue this reminder again. There was about somebody on our board. I'm not calling you out because we already talked about it. It's all good. But the Saban bitched out with this new thing and left. I was like, come on. Stop. They won the SEC last year. They went to overtime with the eventual national champs. Overtime. Chase, overtime's a coin toss, bud.
It is.
Okay? So they lost the coin toss. But had they won the coin toss and won that overtime period, and again, college football overtime is flawed. I mean, the only thing worse is penalty kicks in soccer.
Had they won a coin flip, they might be having a trophy in their case right now.
They would have a trophy in their case right now.
Yeah.
They would have beaten Washington. They would have.
Yeah.
So I get that he's gone and whatever. DeBoer's a pretty good coach. Kane Womack's a pretty good defensive coordinator. They're probably going to be a pretty good team. I do think there is this rush to write off Alabama because we're tired of it.
Mm-hmm.
That might be just a shade premature.
Georgia minus 24 against Hugh and Auburn early. That's a big line.
That's a huge line.
I actually like Auburn there.
24 points?
Yeah.
Kind of.
I like Auburn to muddy it up and just kind of last year. I mean, they played them well last year.
Really well.
With a really outman team. They played Georgia better than they played New Mexico State.
It was a Hugh Freeze deal.
Yeah, that's what he does.
He almost beat Alabama and he lost to New Mexico State.
Yeah.
Hugh Freeze. Welcome to the ride.
Get on the roller coaster and
Buckle
you go
up.
up and down.
Yes. Please make sure that all hands stay in. 100%.
Yeah, everybody goes, wow, can you believe it? It's like, yes, exactly what I expected. That is the experience.
When people go, he will not win any big games there.
No, he will.
That's total bullshit. Yes, he will.
Yeah.
Now, he'll lose some weird games, but he will win big games.
He's going to give y'all some great days, and he's going to royally piss you off.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
He's not a 5.5 that just goes.
No.
The damn tilt-a-whirl. You're woof, woof, woof.
One day he's a supermodel, and the next day he rolls out of the bed, and you're like, whoa. And
his hot crazy scale bounces all over the damn place. I mean, that thing's up and down and left and right. And I mean, it's literally like throwing a dartboard in the morning.
You're gonna get hot, and you're gonna get crazy.
Yeah.
And you just decide which outweighs the other, and after a while you'll get sick of the ride.
Georgia minus 1.5 in Austin, facing Texas this year.
Ooh.
Yeah, Georgia got Alabama, Ole Miss, and Texas on their schedule.
Yeah, look, I mean, the SEC
didn't do the Bulldogs a lot of favors.
I mean,
here.
The teams that got favors done were Ole Miss and Missouri.
And Tennessee, okay.
Yeah.
Their schedule's good. Georgia minus 22 in the cocktail party game. Is that even during that Final Five ridiculous set of games, or is that before?
I don't even know.
I'll look in a second.
Florida, man.
Yeah, I'll get to them in a minute.
Yeah.
That's interesting on here.
Okay.
Minus 7 against Ole Miss, as we said, and then minus 17.5 at home against Tennessee. That's a big number.
That's a big number.
I don't know what you want to do with that. And then this one, last one that we have a line to. Speaking of Florida and their final slate of games, that was 5 just – I think it is. It's like Georgia, LSU, Texas, Ole Miss, Florida State, I think is what it is for their final 5, where – I mean, 0-5 would be probably my guess over 1-4 if you just made me pick it. Ole Miss.
Florida Gators.
Yes, that is correct. Ole Miss minus 6.5 in the swamp against Florida that day. Lay all of them.
Isn't that wild, man?
Lay all of them.
If I had told you in November of 2019 that in November of 2024, Ole Miss would be a 6.5-point favorite at Florida.
And your inclination would be, oh, God, put all my money on it. Because I know
Florida schedule, they open with Miami, then they play Samford. Texas A&M goes to Gainesville. They go to Starkville. UCF goes to Gainesville. God, they could lose that game. They go to Tennessee, home against Kentucky, the cocktail party thing against Florida, at Texas, home against LSU, home against Ole Miss, at Florida State. Holy. Damn.
I know. You look at that and go, oh, my God.
My God, Todd's going to have some big crowds at some early basketball games.
Hey, Golden is sitting there, had a good year, did a good job, and he's tucked in between this and then whatever the hell's going on with Kevin O'Sullivan. He's got Billy Napier and he's got Kevin O'Sullivan just hanging out.
He's basically just going, hey, hey, everybody, don't do anything stupid. Just be cool.
Keep it between the lines, and we're golden. Yeah. Lines for Florida, speaking of. This is what I mean. From an early betting line standpoint, they're underdogs in 7 games that we have lines on. And like if I told you right now Kentucky beat Florida, you wouldn't be shocked. And that game's not even on the list.
Not even a little bit.
Hell, they might lose to State.
Could.
It's in Starkville.
Yeah.
That's a huge early game for both those teams. That game is so big for both those teams.
Well, the pressure's on Napier, and there's no pressure on Lebanon.
Nah, Florida's in town.
Kind of a free shot.
No, if anything, it's Florida with a kind of an exposed chest for you right there. +2 against Miami for Florida. +4 against Texas A&M. +11 against Tennessee. By the way, it's the largest the most pro Tennessee line in a Tennessee Florida game since the 1970s.
Oh wow.
In this, or at least per this Brian Edwards sports guy. I don't know. Sure.
Okay.
+22 against Georgia. +5.5 against LSU. +6.5 against Ole Miss, and +13.5 against Florida State. And again, that's no Texas line. That is no Kentucky line. That is no Mississippi State line.
Mm-hmm.
Whew.
Yeah, sign him up. So he's pretty.
As Brian Edwards puts below this in quotes, these are the times that try men's souls.
No doubt. He must be pretty bullish on the Noles.
At 13.5.
Yeah.
I don't have Florida State lines.
I just made an observation.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Yeah.
It was very SEC centric with these.
Sure. Well, that's where the money is.
But I mean, if I told you Florida went, I'll pay you if they go 1-4 out, you wouldn't be crazy about taking that bet.
Down the
think,
stretch?
Yeah. You think it's 0-5.
I do. I think you're in trouble. I mean, it's hard to know because, I mean, here's what's going to happen in November and May when rosters aren't even finalized is I mean, that's a hell of a hot take. But, I mean, if you're betting games right now, if someone comes to you and goes, you must bet these games right now, I'm not taking the Gators in a lot of points. I'm probably laying points.
I mean, I was shocked. I'm sorry, G-Man. I was shocked in 2015. I did not expect Ole Miss and Hugh to lay that level of egg in Gainesville that night.
They were bad.
They were awful. What was the quarterback's name for Florida that was so bad that beat them?
Oh, I can't even remember.
What was that kid's name? Oh no, that was Greer. That was before the whole thing happened.
Oh, was that
Greer beat them, and then they had the other cat later in the year.
Oh yeah.
Because you kind of had Ole Miss got to Atlanta, they'd have beaten that Florida team with that cat at quarterback.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. But it was Greer that night in Gainesville, right?
Yeah, I mean, and who would have ever, because Greer obviously is now his 5th season as the Falcons quarterback. Oh, wait, he didn't make it. That's right. Yeah, come on. That was a total disaster. That was the Hugh Freeze experience.
That night.
That whole season. That.
Won in Tuscaloosa, got hammered in Gainesville, lost to Memphis.
Lost to Arkansas.
Yeah, who was the other quarterback? Who was the kid that was the quarterback after Greer when he got suspended or hurt or whatever the hell happened?
I can't remember.
Was that the steroid thing? That hit him mid-season?
I think so.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the quarterback was Greer. I know we're 45 seconds behind. Tell me the other guy's name. I can't remember his name. It doesn't really matter. Oklahoma, their first year in the league.
By the way, sneaky places for me when people go, what's your least favorite trip? Mine is Gainesville. Gainesville.
It might be.
I don't like it. There's nothing about it that I like. Nothing. No offense.
He's the Eagles' backup now.
Is he?
Will Greer.
That's awesome.
Why are you hating on Will Greer?
I don't know.
What you got about?
I don't know. We all have our own little.
I mean, whoa, hold on.
I'm not a.
What in the hell?
I'm not a Gators guy, other than the basketball program, which I'm a giant fan.
Treon Harris. There we go. Thank you. Yeah, him.
Yeah, boy, you could have given me all day.
That's right.
I don't think I'd have ever gotten there. Nope.
Had to start sounding it out for you and really help. I mean, would have to.
Yeah, you would have had to go tree on, and I still would have been.
Florida, the worst.
The traffic's shitty. You can't get parked. They're mean to you. They're not nice. Like the traffic people aren't nice.
Oh, even the traffic people.
Yeah. And so you're like, hey, I'm not from here. This map's unreadable. Can you help me?
Give me a direction.
Just help me a little. It's like the opposite of like Auburn or back in the day before I knew where I was going at Arkansas. You could roll down the window and go, can you help me find this? And he'd be, yeah, it's right over there. Here, do this.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, cool. I'm not saying, hey, hop in the car with me and guide me. Just be nice. And not there. No, sir.
There aren't many bad trips. So that's kind of why it stands out too. I mean, you really go through the league and you go, there's
No,
something I
sure.
kind of like most places.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't name one thing that I like there.
Even the places that I don't necessarily love covering a game in, like there are things about it I kind of like Knoxville. I can have a good time in Knoxville. It's fine.
Yeah, I like Knoxville fine.
It's not one I would pick out the top of my head.
No,
but
but
it's all
fine.
right.
Sure.
College Station's kind of cool in its own way.
Yeah.
It's a little culty, but it's cool in its own way.
In fairness to the Aggies, more and more college football is becoming culty. If you think about it.
So you think the league is catching up to them versus them just becoming even more culty?
No, they've become even more culty.
So their cultish level is rising.
Yes,
too.
but I'm just saying everyone's kind of chasing them at the same time.
Oh,
I'm not sure anybody's closing ground, but there's more cult level at most places.
I mean, like
now.
Columbia, Missouri is not an SEC town in any way, but it's all right. Like,
yeah, it's fine.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Enjoy it well enough.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if we're just talking towns, Tuscaloosa is very dead last.
Yeah.
I can't stand Tuscaloosa.
What they do from a media standpoint
now, the game is different.
They're fantastic from a media relationship.
And their stadium environments may be the best in the league now.
I think it is the best.
It's better than LSU now.
Yeah. No, they've done a great
job. Which
job.
is a credit to Alabama, not a shot at LSU.
It's a credit to Nick Saban.
Yeah. That might be the most enjoyable road game from a stadium atmosphere standpoint in the league.
Agreed.
I like Auburn and Georgia in different ways with what they do.
But Auburn's changed the road thing for media.
When the press box is like off in the corner.
It's like in a different county.
Yeah. You're not shocked by that.
I hate it. And now Georgia's doing that. You know, this was the last year for that press box in Georgia. They changed it.
Was it really?
So they're going to put the media off.
Are there any – nobody cares. I promise I'm stopping.
No.
Are there any basketball arenas in the league that still have media courtside?
Not that I'm aware of.
Really? Because that used to be normal. I mean,
yeah.
I've
that's why I love the tournament. You get to get courtside again, and you can kind of see the game in a way that you haven't gotten to see it all year.
Starkville's issue is that, look, they have a big chip on their shoulder, so like they don't just market themselves in a way that you don't get antagonistic things back at you. They've done a really good job with like the Cotton District and some of their downtown stuff, but you don't see it because all the athletic facilities are right there on the highway, and you just come in and do it and get out and whatnot. That hurts Starkville from that standpoint of you're not like that. Number one, they don't have kind of a place that you go, hey, that's the square or wherever you're going to go and do this. But I think just the geography of where the campus is kind of affects them too from a PR standpoint on what people see and don't see and whatnot.
This won't be a popular
They've done a good job.
They've done a phenomenal job with that stadium.
Oh, they have.
A phenomenal job. It actually looks really nice when you're inside it now. And frankly, I don't think it used to. But it does now, and they've done a really good job. And they're terrific with media when you're there.
Yeah, Ole Miss media will not be headed to the Coliseum, Sammy, but I appreciate the thought. It's got a big hatchet right in the middle of it. Those Oklahoma lines real quick, and we'll move on. Where is that? Because their first year in the league, obviously you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines, 7 SEC games already out for Oklahoma.
Okay.
Minus 39.5 against Temple early in the season. So
okay.
They'll probably dispatch of the Owls there in Norman. Minus 5 against Tennessee. Give me the Vols.
Where's the game?
I'm assuming it's in Norman because between line and date. But I give me Tennessee in the 5.
Okay.
Minus 3 at Auburn for Oklahoma.
Oh, that'd be a big game.
That's a sneaky Hugh special right there.
It's gonna be a wake up call that day.
Headed in.
Well, because this is like the part that you can't prepare for, and people in our league will be like, "Welcome to the SEC," and I'll be like, well, "Okay, yeah, everybody's kind of got to experience this their own way." They're gonna look at Auburn and go, "Okay, middle of the pack." Auburn hadn't done anything in a while. Probably won't be a great team this year, record-wise. And they'll look at that and go, okay, this is probably one we can go get. Because in the Big 12, when you play middle of the pack teams, you win them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to go to Auburn, and that place is going to be a zoo. And it is loud.
Yeah.
Auburn does a great job with in-game fan noise and all that stuff. It will be super loud. They'll be in for a shot.
No, it's what we've continued to say. It's not the Georgia, the LSU, the whatever. It's that trip to Kentucky, that trip to wherever,
Starkville.
and you go.
Come on, it's the trip to Starkville all of a sudden you weren't really prepared for the bells and all that stuff, and it's loud, and you freak out a little bit,
And then suddenly it's a game.
and they're geeked up to play you, and next thing you know, you're in the fourth quarter and you're down 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Plus 8.5 against Texas in their annual game. Texas -8, -8.5
It's
against
such
Oklahoma.
a rivalry. I don't touch that.
Yeah. Good. That is your pro tip, SEC gamblers. Just leave that damn thing alone because it might be the one time where you go to just throw the damn books out.
Well, and they also play early enough in the year that it's still there's never the year where like you get an egg bowl where one team's dead.
Yeah. So everybody's juiced.
Yeah.
Plus 6 in Oxford for Oklahoma, as we said. They'll have that one ready though. I mean, they're not gonna. That's whatever.
Yeah.
Plus 4 at Mizzou. They go to Columbia. Buckle up.
Yeah. Prepare yourself.
Plus 1.5 at home against Alabama.
Boy, can you imagine what Norman will be like that day?
Yeah.
It is going to be fun to watch, like,
well, I mean,
all the news.
Their Tennessee game will be a really cool one from an environment standpoint because that's like their first big SEC game, and like the ball's coming to town and that whole deal.
It'd be awesome.
Yeah. And then plus 5 at LSU. Oklahoma and Texas Oklahoma got no favors here. This schedule sucks.
Oh,
you can be pretty good and go 8-4 in a hurry.
Oh, yeah. Easy.
Frankly, you can go 6-6 in a hurry if you're not careful.
Yeah. And then what happens?
That's Jackson Arnold, first year starting quarterback.
Yeah, he's good now.
Yeah. But
he's good. But and they're an interesting team, right? Because they're kind of a playoffs or bust program. And what if they have 3 losses going into November? Are they still playing hard? Because in the past, 9-3 in the Citrus Bowl, you'd be like, it's pretty good. Now it's like, it's effing Citrus Bowl.
You think so for them?
I think so. Yeah. Oklahoma? Yeah, that's a playoffs or bust program. Whether it should or shouldn't be is immaterial. They are.
We're not really even factoring Oklahoma into this playoff thing, are we? Because of that schedule and everything involved with them.
I mean, nobody is, but
they got to really prove it.
Yeah.
At this point.
They're probably not quite ready. What will be interesting with Oklahoma, though, is like, and Texas, too. I bet their fans really travel, and I bet they're going to be shocked at how much SEC schools travel.
To them.
Yeah. Like, this is going to be a big, if you're a Tennessee fan, you'd probably circle that game, right? That'd be a fun trip. Stay in Oklahoma City. You can make a quick little 23-minute drive up to Norman. Or I guess down to Norman.
Yeah, either way. Get it. So, early lines. Bet on them at your own discretion. They're the few that I wouldn't get anywhere near and a few that I like early on. I think we do know a little bit about the identities of teams for some of those picks. Frankly, I just like to fade Florida in those finals because that's the thing, too. As they build, that's a team that's dying and dead and then is going to roll over probably by the end of it. I mean, Ole Miss catching them at a great time from that standpoint.
Hardman says, hot take, MSU Stadium is better than Ole Miss's. I don't even think it's a hot take.
No, I think Ole Miss would admit that right now. It's where we, back to the conversation yesterday, what to do about it and how to fix it and all those different things. But
on the list of priorities, when you look at it and you go, okay, where does our stadium rank?
It's not good.
If you're Ole Miss, it's like, it's not good. I mean, not good at all.
But
way at the bottom of the list, okay, well, what should we do about it? Well, now that's a different question.
Yeah. And it's not just simply fix it.
20 years ago, it would be fix it.
20 years ago, they'd already have the shovels in the ground.
Right. And now it's, I don't know, maybe nothing?
Yeah. That's the answer. So, all right. Style Assembly on the Square. Got graduation, Mother's Day. There's lots of opportunities coming up to shop for the women in your life. It's, again, offering clothes, shoes, purses, jewelry, art, and more. Huge selection of good or sunglasses for men and women. Give you most of the products at the online store. That's shopstyleassembly.com. Exclusive discount RG15 on the website between now and May 31st. That's 15% off your online purchase. Also, Style Assembly is a corporate sponsor of the Grove Collective and a founding member of the Grove Collective Business Coalition. When you shop, you're helping support Ole Miss Athletics. That's online, shopstyleassembly.com, or at the store, 203 North Lamar, next to Blind Pig. Ask for Kate. She's the owner. She'll personally help you out.
I've been telling you guys we've been kind of exploring a trip for next summer, like one of those big family things, one last chance. And so we've been trying to do it the right way. Yet just yesterday, John Edwards sent me a proposal, kind of an idea, just a rough thing, full of details. This is more than a year out. If you're thinking about traveling, you need to get in touch with John too. He'll do the same for you. It's John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated. He's based in Memphis, but you don't have to live anywhere near Memphis to take advantage of his services. Get in touch with him, give him some parameters, give him a budget. He's going to help give you options and ideas that you just don't really find on your own. 901-494-3387 or jedwards@regencytravel.net. Oxford's newest Greek restaurant on the square, Opa, is the perfect place to plan your company dinner, your festive party event. Fabulous food, great craft libations as well. Opa can accommodate up to 200 guests. For catering or booking information, contact Jeannie, 601-421-7147. And don't forget, if you're coming in this weekend for graduation, for the Texas A&M series, make sure you stop by Rafters Music and Food on the square in Oxford as well. We're also brought to you by Service Specialist Staffing and Recruiting Agency. If your company is looking to hire quality, hard-to-find talent, Service Specialists can help. Keep in mind that the payment of service is solely contingent on if you decide to hire a candidate that they send. In other words, you've got nothing to lose. Give Will, Sydney, or Kelsey a call at 601-573-9242 or check out their new and improved website, servicespecialistltd.com. Get the beautiful and healthy smile you deserve at Corinth Dental. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures that will result in a beautiful, long-lasting smile. From routine checkups to advanced treatment, including implants and Invisalign, Corinth Dental is here to help you achieve your smile goals. So schedule your appointment today. Take the first step toward a better version of yourself. CorinthDental.com. Are you a displaced corporate executive or wanting to put your career in your own hands? Are you an experienced entrepreneur looking to diversify? Either way, Andy Ludicky can help. He's a longtime Rivals board member, a diehard college football fan, franchise veteran who owns multiple franchises and businesses, uses his expertise to help others find their American dream through a very thorough and free consultation process. So call Andy. Put your life and your career in your own hands. It's 100% free, nothing to lose. Andy at myperfectfranchise.net or 404-973-9901.
Just a quick thing here, because this could hit the SEC in the future. I was reading yesterday, the Big Ten says that they have a, quote, monumental task in establishing tiebreakers for an 18-team league with no division. The obstacle in particular dawning in football, where teams play 9 teams and miss 8. Big Ten COO Kerry Kinney tells the Mercury News John Wilner, as, quote, as we transition to number 1 versus number 2, we have to think about the entirety of the tiebreaker because there will be CFP considerations for the teams that finish 4th, 5th, and 6th. He goes on to say, if you have a group with one common opponent, it makes you go deeper in the process. You want to have it figured out before you get to the coin flip. They're looking at whether or not to let analytics pull into the tiebreakers with the CFP. You have to work up how you go deeper in the process. You have to make strong, educated assumptions. The goal is not to get into a situation you can't resolve. We can't do something that everyone can agree with and allows us to put the best teams forward to Indianapolis and in the playoff. Please give me a league that starts using game control as the tiebreaker on who to send to the college football playoff and watch fan bases explode.
Watch coaches explode.
Yes.
And justifiably, by the way.
I mean, last year, one spot left. Hey, Missouri, you're in. Ole Miss, you're out because you played Georgia to 14. Hold on. Whoa. One game? Analytics.
Yeah.
Hang on, but we both lost. Yeah, but they lost prettier. Well, hold on. What about the fact that I beat the hell out of so-and-so and they didn't beat the hell out of so-and-so? Well, I don't know.
It's impossible. I can't stand it. I hate that whole metric.
Hell, I might like the coin flip better.
That's why they're going to expand to 16 teams, and the Big Ten and the SEC are both going to get 5 in every single year. Period.
And if you finish 6th, then okay.
And you might get in 6th.
Oh, is that true? Mark says recently as the 80s, Texas high school football ties were broken by number of first downs. Well, I mean, as Friday Night Lights taught us, you did do the coin flip, back in the day. Odd man is out or in.
I mean, Kirk Ferentz right now is going, hold up.
Game control, not our specialty, okay?
It's not how we built the program. That was not in the – you didn't put that on the syllabus.
Do we get grandfathered in here?
Well, and he'd have a point.
He would. Yeah, that's
not what they've done. And we all make fun of Iowa, blah, 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 but look at their numbers. They win 8.5, 9 games a year, which puts you right on the precipice of 10. You're going to knock them out because they didn't win pretty enough? I'm sorry, but there's never a syllabus that goes, hey, listen, you need to win pretty.
And because there's a spread to game control, if you got into any kind of those analytics, it's just an offense feast because defense has a hard time with game control just because you don't spread.
And so now you're asking people not even to be good sports.
I want to run it up.
I know you're beating this team 49-0, but that might not be enough. You need to humiliate them. Forgive me if I say that doesn't taste right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? No. 63 is not enough.
High school football has long used margin of victory for tiebreakers. Up to a certain point. It was like max of 12 or something like that.
Well, they do it in soccer sometimes with like goal differential. And it's like, well, some teams play like you get up 2-0 and you play back.
Yeah.
You just prevent. It's part of the strategy.
Yeah, you're not because you become susceptible to counters if you're just offensive the whole time.
So now it's keep attacking, run it up, embarrass some 16-year-old kid in the goal. That's stupid. I don't know. That's me.
So you'd like to avoid the analytics portion of this?
Yes. Figure it out.
Would you be open to simply letting the college football playoff rankings decide it? Because then you're maximizing your teams.
You're back to analytics, but sure. I mean, I guess.
You're passing the buck.
Yeah. I mean, look.
You got to do it somehow.
Face your reality here. Go to 16 teams. Do it. You're headed there anyway. Just get there. The top 5 teams from the Big Ten are going to go. The top 5 teams from the SEC are going to go. You'll take the ACC champ, assuming that the league's still in existence. You'll take the Big 12 champ. If you insist on doing this group of 5 thing, fine. And then wild cards.
Yes, I agree. So this Brian Kelly thing pops up yesterday, goes all over social media because I know you're shocked. We didn't get a full version of the quote, just the one sentence clip that everyone focused on.
We got the Twitter hot take.
The Twitter hot take.
From media types.
I think Jacques Doucette is who did the interview, if I have that correct here.
Yep.
He's not working for LSU now, is he?
I don't know.
Okay. He was in purple and gold, but
my guess is he is working for LSU.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't sure. Not sure. Long-time broadcast guy in Louisiana.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to read the full quote is not in one place that I can find, but I'm going to try to piece it together and give you guys as much of the full quote as I can here. He was asked about defensive line recruiting was how we got here.
Yep.
Was asked about defensive linemen in the portal specifically.
Mm-hmm.
We were in the market and recruiting in the transfer portal looking for defensive linemen. No, Jacques Doucette is with WAFB. Okay. Hasn't fared very well, frankly, because we're selling something a little differently, and that is we want to recruit, we want to engage, build relationships, develop, retain, and have success. We're not in the market of buying players, and unfortunately right now that's what some guys are looking for. They want to be bought. We will develop you and get you ready for the next step, as we did with Jaden Daniels, as we did Malik Neighbors, we did Brian Thomas. We developed 3 defensive linemen that all got drafted this year, and we'll do that again. But if you're looking to get paid, if you're looking in the wrong place. If you like all the things we do here, developing our players, bringing you into a championship program, playing in front of the best fan base in America, playing for championships, and having an opportunity for NIL, you should be a Tiger. If you just want to get paid, it's not the place for you.
I have zero problem with that answer.
His full answer is because, look, everybody's paying. That's not the point.
He didn't say they wouldn't get paid. He said NIL.
Yeah.
He's simply saying if what you want is to come in for one season and just get paid.
He's saying what Lane has been trying to guard against and what they were so worried about last year, which is, hey, you got to buy into the damn place. We have to you got to pass our background checks.
Yep.
That you're not going to get here and be a shithead for 6 months. Take the money
and just collect
and
the check.
collect the check.
Because that might not work.
That's why Lane was so happy with his first meeting with Trey Harris. He's pointed this out 1,000 times. That he had Trey Harris and he went, hey, he's really good. And oh my God, he's going to buy in. He's in.
Yeah.
This dude wants to win. Like he's actually in. Yeah, sign him, dude. Get him.
Yeah.
And then you start building off of that. So sure, PR built into this answer. Yeah, and look, Brian Kelly, I don't think he's a great fit there. He kind of weirds me out.
Sure.
But
two things can be true
I got
at
no
once.
issue here.
No, I have no issue at all.
No.
I mean,
yeah, I mean,
he's basically saying we don't want renegades. I have no problem with that.
Yes, LSU buys players. Yes,
everybody
LSU
buys
has been
players.
shady as hell. Sure.
And everybody was shady in the past. I'm sick of that. Of course. This is where some media and most fans simply can't be rational about this topic. It's too emotional. If you don't give any credence to what he said, then you're not trying. He's simply saying, I don't think that works. That's what he says.
Yeah, we can go get that dude, but if they don't kind of buy in, it's going to be a problem. Which might happen anyway. Because you can't protect it. You can't guard it. You don't know.
It's why you hear Lane talk about the things that he talks about time after time after time after time. Kalen DeBoer has said similar things. The whole just throw a roster together and put a bunch of talented dudes on the field because you paid the most might not be the answer. Because you're getting guys for one season. And if they just come in going, hey, man, I'm just here for the money, might not work. And then that rubs off on the rest of the team. And there is something about roster continuity, development. Why's Mike in trouble today? Development.
Mm-hmm.
Development matters. They did do a really good job with Malik Neighbors. He's right. They did do a really good job with Jaden Daniels. He was a much better quarterback at LSU than he was at Arizona.
Brian Thomas was a good player.
I mean, Malik went what? Not Malik. Jaden went third in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Malik went top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Thomas was a first-round pick. They did everything he says is right. Yeah, and you can also say, and I'll say it too, I don't think he's a great fit there. And if you told me he's not long for the job, I buy it. But I don't really have a problem with that answer. And I'm kind of stunned at some of the media reaction to it.
Well, I think fewer than 25% of people even saw the whole quote.
Well, and you have to understand that our field, I'm not talking about fans now, I'm talking about media, are so pro-labor that they view this as, oh, so you want to make millions, but you don't want the players to make. That's not what he said.
No, he didn't even say we have a cap on NIL. You can get rich, just you got to buy in too. I mean,
there's got to be more to it. You can't just come here for the money.
Mm-hmm. Which happens.
You have to be coachable. You have to buy into the program, to the culture, putting on that uniform.
There was a wide receiver at Ole Miss a couple years ago that just came from the money, and you saw how that
went. How it worked. You've got to putting on the uniform has to mean something to you.
And that is a hard thing in today's
deal. It's very difficult.
Not everybody does that. Fairly small percentage, actually.
Those kids wearing that UConn basketball uniform, it meant something to them. It did.
Including Cam Spencer.
Yeah, it meant something to them. So.
What did Danny Hurley end up getting paid?
I don't know. $9 million, something like that.
Was it?
A bunch.
Did you see where they ended up taking out? Did we talk about this? They basically took out an insurance policy to be able to pay him. Some overseas insurance thing, because they started looking at, hey, UConn, our men and our women are really good. We're going to have some problems with them maxing all of the bonuses that are in these contracts.
Mm-hmm.
So their AD leveraged money and took out essentially insurance policies to be able to pay Ariema and Hurley through the bonuses, because he pointed out, hey, we're not in the SEC. We don't have that type of reserve. So we had to be creative. And on the back end, they're going to get some back because obviously there's popularity and money that comes with those titles and different things. But he said that they had to do some sort of almost like Lloyd's of London kind of insurance thing to pay it, and that it capped like 85% of the possible bonuses for the men and the women over the course of the year.
Wow.
Really smart on the AD there at UConn.
Very smart.
to figure that out.
You want to win, but
yes, we said he looked at the books and went, "Hey, we're winning," but this is
it's a problem.
It's a bit of a problem right now as you're doing this. So found that kind of interesting. But anyway. All right, a few other topics coming up in a second. First, Prime Shrimp, primeshrimp.com. A lot of different flavors available for you. Their soy ginger is their most recent. Your one-stop barbecue is their most popular. I like the signature. They got full meals in a bag. They're great for lunches, quick protein snacks, or dinner when the kids got a lot going on. A lot of stuff going on here this time of year. Baseball, softball, soccer, all those things. So take advantage of Prime Shrimp. We're going to help you out too. You get a lot of your favorites, get a sample of everything. Use code RG. Buy 5 pouches or more with code RG at primeshrimp.com. That's 25% off.
Southern Traditions Farm is a 68-acre, 32-stall upscale equestrian training and boarding facility in Canton, Mississippi. 2 sand rings, grass ring, miles of wooded trails. So much offered at Southern Traditions, including horseback riding offerings from beginner lessons with trainer Susan Walt to buying your first horse, competing at nationally recognized competitions, and more. Also a great venue for corporate outings, things of that nature. So get in touch with them on Facebook or Instagram at Southern Traditions Farm. Don't forget, if you're coming up this weekend for graduation, the series or whatnot, stop by LB's Meat Market, 2008 University Avenue, right across the street from Kroger. Freshest cuts in Oxford, whatever you're looking for, beef, pork, chicken, house-made sausages, lots of things there at LB's. Stop in, tell Greg and the people there that you heard about it on MPW Digital. I'll have a mailbag to you later this morning, not too far away from being completed. It's brought to you by Art Hayes, Sotheby's International Realty. Are you thinking of making a move? Put the power of Sotheby's International Realty to work for you. As a licensed agent with Sotheby's and a supporter of all things Ole Miss, Art can help you buy or sell in your hometown or anywhere in the world at no charge to you. Seriously. So call and ask Art how. 612-805-5929 or email him at arthur.hayes@lakesmn.com.
The Ole Miss, first. Podcast brought to you by Northeast Spark, NESPARC. Service people across rural communities. 2 packages, the Ignite, the 100 Mbps, or the Blaze. That is their 1 gig, their fastest option. Your hometown team bringing you world-class broadband. That's nespark.com, 662-238-3159. Phone service, parental controls, network security, and much more. So again, get the best internet in Lafayette County. That's 662-238-3159. A couple things here. Ole Miss softball knocked off Kentucky 7-2 last night in the first round of the SEC tournament. They faced number 5 seed Missouri today in the second round. Really weird. They took that 2 out of 3 from LSU. So we had Jamie Trax on the show. I think they lost 13 straight SEC games after that, and then took a series from Auburn, went to number 8 Arkansas, took 2 out of 3, and then beat Kentucky last night. So kind of zigzagging all over the place here for the Rebels. So they win 7-2, and then Ole Miss women's golf, they are comfortably in line to advance to the national championships. After today's round, they have their 3rd and final round of regional play, and they are in 2nd place at the Bermuda Run Regional at 12 under par. They have a 12-shot cushion right now to advance to the national championship.
I like the chances.
Yeah, they're trailing only Wake Forest, the host team in the regional, and I think like Oregon State's like 12 back. That would have to. Several teams would have to pass them, but all of those teams would have to pass them. They take the top 5 from each regional. The Ole Miss men's golf team, ranked 5th in the country, they start their regional on Monday. They are in Palo Alto at Stanford. I'll have a profile on them Friday or Saturday, but yeah, they start on Friday. So just a little quick around the horn there on some other sports that are currently playing. It's been kind of a weird year for the spring sports at Ole Miss, but the golf team's doing well. They do have that under control right now.
Yeah.
So for whatever that's worth. Our Brent Randall sends us emails all the time. Appreciate his thing. He said just send an email to me while we're on the show right now. A couple other Bovada lines for Ole Miss related things. Georgia only -3.5 on Bovada for Ole Miss that day. So you can get it at 7 or you can get it at 3.5, depending on what you.
I mean, I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer here, but if you offer me that line, I might just take the dogs.
3.5. Because you go, hey, if Ole Miss covers that, they're cooking with gas. Like that meant.
Yeah, I mean
that means that was a heavyweight game that day, and you went, whoa.
Again, they haven't lost a regular season game in 3 years.
They have not. Their demise is probably overcalculated a little bit.
I mean,
Carson Beck's back.
In the world of hot takes, Georgia's dead is like,
yeah. Because, I mean, look, had you let them in the playoff, you still might have picked them to win the damn thing.
I would have picked them to win the whole thing.
Yeah. So,
I mean, one game.
Against their rival. Like,
yeah.
They lost to Nick Saban one time. Like, It is what it is. Jackson Dart is the third, tied for the third highest Heisman favorite for the year from Bovada, plus 1,000 for Jackson Dart on that.
Don't hate those numbers.
He is in there with Dylan Gabriel, Quinn Ewers, and Carson Beck. That is the group there. All top 6 teams quarterbacks. So that's the.
Look,
what you got?
I like Ewers and Dart there. You want to sprinkle some money on those two lines?
For him to win the Heisman, they have to go 11-1.
I'm thinking.
Because the way the schedule works.
I mean, Jaden won 9-3.
Yeah. You can do it, but you better have. Ole Miss is going to run the ball too much. Lane's balanced. He's not just going to go through. Because a couple games there, LSU went, by God, we're out of this thing. We're going to win the Heisman.
Yeah. They did.
Lane's going to run it.
They've got to let Jackson be really available to national media.
And Juice Wells has got to be really good. Trey needs help.
Yeah. It's doable. Yeah, he's got a shot. He's got a lot of charisma. He's a really good story. They've got to let the national media tell his story. And sometimes I don't know that Jackson really wants to sit down and do a lot of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether I can't speak for whether the Heisman means something to him or not. I have no idea.
Sure.
But if from a school standpoint, if you're serious about that, you're probably going to have to get a little uncomfortable at times.
Ole Miss has the third best SEC champion line on Bovada right now. They are plus 650 to win the SEC title.
What's Texas?
I don't know. They're behind Georgia and Texas, so those two are higher.
I have no problem with Texas ahead of Ole Miss or Ole Miss ahead of Texas.
Yeah.
You know, anybody who's picking anybody but Georgia, you're out of your freaking mind. But in terms of betting probabilities,
Ole Miss is a minus 130 favorite to make the college football playoff this season, meaning you have to pay 130 to win 100. If you bet yes, if you bet no, it's just straight even odds. You can coin flip that thing on the no.
There's no lack of respect.
Oh,
I mean, good luck with that narrative. Yeah. No one believes in us.
Well, Georgia found it 2 years ago.
They did.
That still was my favorite post-game interview ever. They beat TCU. Yeah, they beat TCU, and the guy goes, well, I mean, Coach was told us, I mean, nobody picked us. Nobody believed in us. We're going, whoa, hold on. Whoa,
can you find someone who didn't?
Hold on.
Yeah. That's great on Kirby's part.
Yeah.
I mean, when he told him, hey, keep all the outside noise
he found
out.
like the TCU student paper or something and went, see?
Yeah.
There.
That smacked him like called a media friend. Hey, I need a favor.
Yeah. Write something dumb for me tomorrow. Ole Miss is over under for the season, as you're well aware, is 9.5. That is where their over under is sitting. It's the right number.
Oh, and I go over in a heartbeat.
Minus 150 on the over, plus 115 on the under.
Wow.
Yeah. And then Ole Miss to win the college football playoff and be the national champion. They are the 6th highest odds. They are at plus 1,500 to win the title. They are behind Georgia, Ohio State, Texas, Oregon, and Alabama.
Okay.
So those are your odds. Non-conference game we haven't mentioned, by the way. Texas, an early 4.5-point favorite against Michigan this season.
Oh.
Yes.
That's a game.
A&M -2 against Notre Dame also.
No idea.
Oh, I bet on that one at your own peril if you feel the need to take a shot there, guys. Because, oh, boy.
Texas, Michigan. Credit to them.
Oh,
line
it up. I mean,
got to tip your cap.
I wouldn't do it if I was an AD.
Hell no. But I tip my cap to the people that do. That'll get a number, I'll tell you that.
Drew asking why not hold Saunier for weekends after how he's pitched recently. Honestly, Grayson's been pretty good. Now the question is level of competition and kind of doing that. But I noticed that when I was doing the portal stats. I did a transfer portal tracker yesterday morning on just how Ole Miss has done with the results versus how they had done in previous seasons with the portal guys. And Saunier's numbers have been pretty good the last few weeks. Like I don't hate that. Also, I know the defense has been horrific, and we made fun of him on Monday, but Luke Hill is really hitting. Like,
Yeah.
if I'm an Ole Miss fan, I don't want him to leave, and I don't want to give up on him because he's hitting SEC pitching as an infielder. Like, try to put him at second next year and play defense. Like,
If he jumped in the portal, he'd find a home.
I mean, he's hitting like 330 in SEC play. It's real.
Oh, he'd get SEC offers.
Yeah. So it's been weird. He's had a weird year in a lot of different ways, but here lately, he's hitting SEC pitching. So just be aware of that a little bit. Your Thunder on the way to the sweep of the Mavericks here after winning last night, 117-95, something like that.
That's a little strong, but
they look good.
Luka
was awful last night.
Luka was bad. I think Luka's hurt.
He is hurt.
Luka might be a lot more hurt than we think he is. Look, here's the deal with it. It's funny to watch. I won't spend more than 1 minute on this, I promise. But it's funny to watch national media because they haven't followed this team. They haven't. You can tell they haven't watched the Thunder because they're trying to make the Thunder all about one or two guys, and that's not. This is a complete opposite of the previous iteration of the Thunder, where it was KD and Russ and just we're going to out-athlete you. They're totally different. They're going to what you're seeing for people like me who love the NBA is that defense really matters. Because the Thunder were awful offensively for 3 quarters last night. Awful. But they really defended Dallas well. And then they had their bench. They beat Dallas with depth. Andre Wiggins had 16 points in 19 minutes, I think. Jalen Williams, the Arkansas Jalen Williams, came in and played really well, gave him some really good minutes 2 or 3 different times, giving Holmgren a break. Cason Wallace, the rookie from Kentucky, was fantastic defensively against Kyrie. And then Jalen Williams from Santa Clara, who is going to be a superstar.
We got to find a way to call these guys something different.
Well, Thunder people do, but nobody else does.
Okay.
One's called J-Dub, one's called J-Will, and everybody's kind of figured it out, and it's fine. But national people get lost on it.
Yeah.
But
it's just a little clunky.
But it is. But Jalen Williams from Santa Clara,
he's the better one.
He, against a hobbled Luka, shut him down. Dallas's problem is very simple. If Luka's hurt, I don't know that they have enough.
Yeah. No, they don't. Yeah. Rudy Gobert won the Defensive Player of the Year award yesterday. Speaking of defense in the NBA, it was his 4th title, tying the most all time. You name the 2 people that he is tied with.
For Defensive Player of the Year?
That's correct. There are 3 people, including Gobert, who have 4 Defensive Player of the Year titles. Can you name the other 2?
Probably not. Michael Cooper?
Both are big men.
Okay.
Or to some degree, yeah. They're actually both big men, yeah.
Like centers?
Yeah, we'll call them centers.
Tim Duncan?
That is not correct.
Patrick Ewing?
That is incorrect.
Hakeem?
That is incorrect.
I don't know.
Dikembe Mutombo.
Okay.
And Ben Wallace.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if Wallace was a 4 or a 5 when you were asking that question, so I was having a little bit of a hard time answering it, but I think he's a 5.
Nikola Jokic will be the MVP today. His 3rd MVP.
Is it his 3rd MVP?
Yep. Yep. He is winning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He should. Right?
Yeah. Well, the reason I can tell you is that there are no plans in Oklahoma City for any kind of a press thing today.
Oh, okay. And he will finish 2nd?
My guess is that Shea will finish
2nd.
Luka will finish 3rd. And Luka will probably try to put that chip on his shoulder and turn it into something, cool. It would be better for Luka if Shea won the MVP.
Oh, okay.
But, hey, I finished 3rd. He finished 2nd.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like a whole lot of juice.
Okay. Also, last night, the Celtics easily dispatched of the Cleveland Cavaliers, 120-95 in that one last night. Cleveland does not have enough for that series. That's not a thing.
No, and people are writing off Boston a little too quickly, too. Just because Kristaps is out for right now doesn't mean that he won't come back, A, or that B, they can't win without him.
And they're good.
They're really good.
Tonight, only one game, Pacers-Knicks, game 2, 7 o'clock on TNT.
Should be a good game.
Sure.
Yeah, game 1 was good.
As I told you, that was weird to watch the other night.
It was just a typical Eastern Conference.
And then I turned Mavs Thunder on, and the Thunder kind of were just up, and I got bored, and just didn't stick.
It was a rock fight in the first half. They called it really tight. They were worried about it getting too physical. They called it super tight. They kind of let off the whistle a little in the second half and let them play. The Thunder can get you in a lot of ways, man. Isaiah Joe came off the bench. Like Giddey did not play well. Giddey came out in the third quarter, was ineffective. Dallas cut it to within one. They took him out. They put Isaiah Joe in. I think the Thunder went on a 10-0 run. The Thunder they have a lot of dudes. They're different. Minnesota's that way. Minnesota's deep. There's so much more to the Timberwolves than just Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns. They're great players, but there's more to them. They win because their bench is deep.
Just 90 seconds on an answer here. I pulled up lottery stuff, predictions for the NBA. Are we talking generational type ceilings on either this Zachary, whatever his name is, or Alex Sarr? These two top 3 picks, probably.
Probably not. Sarr's good. His brother plays in the NBA. The other kid's got a lot of.
Is it Rissachar? I don't know how to pronounce his name.
It's Rissachar, I think. Okay. They like him. There's a lot of people like Cody Williams, who's Jalen Williams' brother. But no, this is considered a really weak draft.
Okay. The Pistons have the most likely first pick.
Yeah.
First pick odds 14%. Top 3 pick odds 40.1% for the Pistons.
Possibly a year where the number 1 pick gets traded.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Detroit needs to do something.
Yeah.
It hasn't worked.
Okay. Jeffrey Wright tomorrow on the show. We'll have that again. Ole Miss tonight. Murray State 5:00 for baseball. For that one, I'll have coverage from Swayze Field, the last home midweek of the season, and then this weekend Texas A&M in town, the number 1 RPI team in the country. The Aggies here Friday, Saturday, Sunday for those 3 to close the home schedule. Graduation this weekend, Mother's Day this weekend, a lot going on here locally in Oxford for that. So appreciate everybody. Thanks to Randall again for sending those last lines in that last segment, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.